What is going on, everyone? Good morning to those on the West Coast, where I'm currently residing. Give me a sip of my coffee real quick. Dang, stream's already having trouble. Yikes. Just as we kick it off, stream's already having trouble. Um, Welcome in, everyone. I gotta make sure. Why is my usage so high already? Should I close some of this out? 31% usage. Jesus. Maybe if we turn the Wi-Fi off and just run strictly off the LAN. Still 29% usage. Well, we'll figure it out, everyone. Hopefully we don't get too crazy and lose the stream. Anyway, it's been a while. Jesus, I need to turn that down. It has been a while, guys. We are back with the W.A.D.E Concept Podcast. My name is Wade Plemons. I am, for now and always, your host here at the W.A.D.E Concept. And today we are watching, and before you guys jump on me in the comments or in the live chat, whatever, we have to do it. We have to watch quite possibly the biggest YouTube event in history, KSI versus Logan Paul. Now, Siri's going crazy. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know why. I think that this is going to be some kind of staple in history, regardless of how it turns out or how cringy the buildup has been. I'm genuinely interested in it. I'm genuinely interested in seeing what actual fighting skills possessed by each of these guys. And for those people that have seen my podcast before, it's been about 4 or 5 months. Some of you guys will probably see this will be the first time you see me without a cast on or a sling on. I've had bicep surgery recently, but we're going to have another one. So we'll see how that goes. They just stepped away from, right now we're watching the weigh-in for the KSI Logan Paul W.A.D.E Jake Paul fight, and they just put the screen overlay up, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But man, my stream is pooping out on me right now. I don't know what is going on. Hopefully it's not anything too bad. Or why is it so bad? Anyway, we'll keep looking at it. But at the moment, they stepped away from the actual weigh-in, so I'm not sure what's going on over there. But regardless, I wanted to get into the stream today to talk to you guys about kind of everything that's been going on lately, what I'm moving toward, what I'm trying to do with the podcast, what's happened with me outside of the podcast in the last maybe couple months or so. And hopefully the stream holds up while we try to do that. Because right now it doesn't look like it's holding up. And I have no idea how to fix it. We don't have a lot of programs running. I don't know why my usage is so high. It keeps dying. But work through it, I guess. It's always got to be something here at the W.A.D.E Concept. Always is something. Maybe it's my bitrate that I can lower. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, so basically since you guys saw me last, I've moved back to California. So I'm living out there now, or out here now, I should say. And we're up at 8 a.m. to watch this weigh-in, and for whatever reason, they stepped away from the weigh-in. But I am interested in this fight, and the reason I'm interested in this fight is for a couple of reasons. One, these are two YouTubers. Let's not mistake kind of what we're seeing here. These guys are video makers for a living. They do what I want to do in my free time. They do as a full-time job. In no way, shape, or form are these professional fighters, and in no way, shape, or form am I a professional fighter at all. But I like to voice my opinion on things that I see, especially in the fighting realm. You guys know this, and this one in particular is just, I don't know. It's goofy. It's absolutely goofy, and it's done for the clickbait, and all the hype around it is going to be a letdown unless someone gets knocked out to the general public. But for me, I want to see a good fight. I want to see two guys. Well, I guess two guys and the Paul brothers, three guys if you count W.A.D.E, that haven't really been boxers their entire life, or really haven't trained for more than a couple of months. I want to see the progression. I want to see how much you can really learn in 2 months or 3 months or whatever it's been. I think that's kind of interesting to me. I want to see how much KSI has improved since his first fight. And if you guys don't know, I've gone into the whole backstory. He beat Joe Weller about a year ago. And I don't know exactly how much better someone that doesn't have that specific athletic background can get. I don't know that. But we're going to see. We're going to see tomorrow, actually. So that's going to be something that's pretty interesting. And I'm taking it seriously because these guys are taking it seriously. So I want to, in some way show them the same respect that they're showing this by actually, if they say they're serious about it, then let's take it seriously. Let's actually judge it as a real fight. The problem I have is it's really hard not to laugh at all four of these fools. Just for the simple fact that there's diss tracks involved, like there's so much hype around it to the point where someone goes to someone else's gym yesterday and gets slapped. That side of it, it's hard for me to look at without chuckling a little bit, just because of how funny and how goofy this whole thing is. But at the same time, you watch some of the sparring footage, and I even had to take a look at this from the perspective of, judging a fighter, and it kind of surprised me a little bit, especially Logan Paul and Jake Paul being as, I don't want to say technical, but they weren't as deficient as I thought they would be in a couple of months of doing this. So I think that's a win for those guys. I think that's something that, if you can see actual improvement in 2 months of them doing this, that's hard to do. It's hard to do to pick up. Granted, they apparently have been training with guys like Sugar Shane Mosley and Shannon the Cannon Briggs from what people have been saying. I have seen some videos of them with Sugar Shane Mosley and Big Bear, which is nuts to get that level of training from one of the greatest boxers to ever live. So, I mean, you can't discount that. And so I kind of want to break down what I saw from both guys, from all four guys, but specifically the newer stuff from W.A.D.E, Jake, and Logan. And then there's some stuff that I've seen from KSI to show his improvement that I didn't see early on. For example, in the Joe Weller fight, you see him doing a lot of just basic boxing, keeping his hands up and then dropping them to throw punches versus replacing where his hands are congruent to his face to throw punches, especially his straight punches and his hooks, and also blocking up while throwing, retracting the hand to the exact same spot. Just a lot of different stuff that you would see a lot of beginners do, JJ is doing, or was doing in that fight. And at the end of our video today, I'll give my prediction, but there's still 0 videos, so this is quality work already. Oh, here we go. Wow, Michael Buffer is at the weigh-ins today, so we'll watch this weigh-in, we'll react to that, and then we will talk about more of the fights. The Paul's dad, who's been surrounded by controversy during this whole entire thing, just walked by the set. He's just been goofing off the entire time, like trying to fight the KSI and his little brother. True Jordy on stage, a guy that is in the same space, I want to say, that I am. Obviously, I'm nowhere near the same level, but True Jordy has been the saving grace, I want to say, of this fight, in that he's made it look more legitimate. He's talked to these guys, sat down, interviewed all 4 of them, and has actually gotten legitimately genuine interviews out of all 4 guys. And again, has actually gotten integrity and truth out of all 4. So I think he's legitimized this in a certain sense. I don't want to play this too loud because I don't know if I'll get in trouble. But I want to hear what Michael Buffer's saying. I'm going to take the headphones off. Michael Buffer, if you guys don't know, has been a Hall of Fame ring announcer in the boxing universe for probably upwards of 30 years. I mean, these guys have, of course, all the money in the world. So they're going to be able to afford guys like this. My question to you guys is, do you think this thing sells out? As far as the gate, not in Manchester Stadium, because I think it has actually already. But I want to know what the gate will be. And that's something that interests me too, because it's only, I think, $9 USD. 6-round contest. 3-minute rounds. That's no joke, man. For reference, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather was a 10-round fight, 3 minutes a round. Standard. These guys, being amateurs, are going to go to 6, but that's still a long time to be in there. Jake Paul coming to the scale. Surrounded by the entourage. Is that his girlfriend behind him? Is it? I got to be honest, Kelsey. If I was going to the scale and I'm weighing in, I don't know if you can be in my entourage walking me down.
Ouch. That hurts.
Not because, okay, this is why. One, this thing is surrounded by hype, so you don't know what's going to happen, right? Like, of course, KSI or Deji's probably going to come out of the rafters and slap him or do, something for clickbait. The camera work. Oh, look at this. Who is it? Is this a little brother?
Yeah,
Is this a little KS? Is this a little Paul?
I think so.
Showing the guns off. Look at him. Oh, pointing them out. That's cute, actually. So, kind of the lead up to this, Jake Paul has looked very serious about this fight. He's dedicated this fight, oddly enough, to cyberbullied kids. Apparently, that's like his motive for fighting, to show all these kids as he takes off 40 chains that he's wearing. He looks like a junkyard dog. Not gonna lie, looks fit. Not gonna lie. Rubs the nips for good luck. All right, I have no idea how to measure kilos, so I don't know what 82.5 is. How many pounds is that? You got to give respect. He looked like he'd been training. He also looked like he spray tanned a little bit, let's be honest. All right, here we go. This is what exactly I knew was about to happen. A lot of chatter from the London crowd. A lot of cursing from the London crowd.
181.
181. That's not bad. So Jake Paul weighs in at 181 pounds. I think Deji's going to come in a lot lighter. I'll say Deji comes in at 160, maybe 165. We got a little controversy with the scale.
Can't believe you wouldn't have me.
It's not that I wouldn't have you. It's not that. You could stay in the crowd. But what if they throw something?
Oh, please. You just.
You know how these things go.
I know.
You're just a walking target at that point, especially if I was in London and I was hated as much as these guys were. Apparently, the last time they went to London, somebody punched his dad. Like, as they were trying to run away, somebody ran up behind him, hit him in the back of the head. My man has got so much ice on. Okay. Do you see what he has on his thing? I don't know. I mean, I'm not monetized right now, so it says fuck Jake Paul. Jake Paul says first round KO. Jeez, he's standing by it. This is the thing. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out. And we'll talk about this after the weigh-ins, but I don't think a single person's getting knocked out on this card. If anybody gets knocked out, it's FaZe Sensei is going to knock someone out.
This actually looks legit.
The only person with actual experience is FaZe Sensei. Well, KSI has experience, so, but actual fighting experience, MMA, boxing, FaZe Sensei is the guy. At least they're doing a good job of separating these two. Well, I guess both, all four fighters are doing a good job. Like, no one's running in and causing this weird little scene. Keemstar in the front row. A lot of people are looking over there. I'm assuming Deji or KSI is about to come in.
I forgot that they're in their place.
Yeah, they're in London, so literally everyone's on their feet. This is nuts. This is for a YouTube event. Could you imagine? Like, this is the reason we watch guys like Conor McGregor, or at least some people. That's the reason they watch him. I honestly think this thing's gonna sell upwards of 100,000 pay-per-views, 200,000 pay-per-views. I mean, probably more, to be honest. Probably more. And granted, it's $60 less than a UFC pay-per-view. But think if they sell 600,000 pay-per-views on this. I mean, they have to pay back a lot of the venue, and I'm sure some sort of equipment, all the equipment fees they have, and just the finances to get this thing put together. But that's in its own space. That's nuts. Wow, Shannon Briggs is on the broadcast. I'm messing with the bit rate, guys. So if the stream keeps dying like that and it keeps kind of sketching out, I don't even think anybody's in the live stream right now. So no worries. But they got Shannon Briggs on stage. They're probably going to interview him. Kels, how old? Look up how old Michael Buffer is, because he looks like he looked in 1985. I'm convinced that guys like that and that space that have to look like that for so long have some kind of ability.
73.
He's 73 years old. Does he looks like he's 50.
Yeah.
I think at this point he's made of plastic. I can't hear Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs' coach has been training Logan and Jake Paul. Make sure the audio's still okay. Audio's good, I think. Yeah, we're good. I'm taking the headphones off and leaving them off. Let's go chant, baby. Shannon Briggs. I don't know if anybody saw that video of Shannon Briggs walking up on uh, Klitschko in a restaurant. They've had beef for like ever, but it looked so set up. Here we go. Deji the Tank. What I'm surprised about is there's no music as they walk out, which is fine. This fool is wearing a full face cover. What do you guess weight wise? I'm going to say he looks a little bigger than I thought. I'm going to say 173. Doesn't look as fit. Looks like a little bit of a pot belly, but means absolutely nothing. Have to recalibrate the scales there. What's his hat say? Team Digi?
Doesn't he have to take that off?
I don't think this is. It's not sanctioned at all. They're fighting it completely. They're all catch weight fights. So this is all for show. Damn straight. That's what his hat says. Got a little bit of ground beef on the chest. I like it. A little bit of hair there. 79.1 kilos.
174.
Oh my God. No one can mess with me at this guessing weight shit. All right. I'm the GOAT at this. Put that shirt on real quick. Here we go. They're going to interview Deji. I know this is wildly entertaining for you viewers to watch, so you're welcome. Oh, they're supposed to. Well, that makes sense. They're supposed to have a face off. I guess Jake just left the venue. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of like usually you can read guys. I think he's just excited for the fight. I don't really see anything there. I mean, we'll get into who I think is going to win the fights in a little bit, but I don't think Deji has. I think Deji has the harder fight, in my opinion. The main eventers are about to hit the stage. What do you think about it? Does this look legit to you? By the way, guys, I don't know. I can't believe I haven't said Kelsey's with me today. She's over on the side over there. She's helping with the technical setup of things and the research for the podcast. Research intern. We pay our employees well here at the W.A.D.E Concept. Come work for me. I'm not making any money yet, but we'll figure something out. We'll pay you with congratulations. A lot of pep talks. I do a lot of pep talks here. A lot of motivational speaking.
So
I've got to figure out why my usage is so high. My bit rate,
it's fine.
does it look okay?
I checked it a second ago. It's fine.
I just feel like it keeps like skipping out.
It
On
might
my
be skipping, but
just watch it for like 2 minutes straight because I feel like anytime I move, it looks terrible.
I like your clickbait.
It's not bad, huh? I did that all this morning.
You look good.
My clickbait for my one loyal viewer, you.
Always, sweetheart.
Does it skip out? No. Like even if I'm moving my hands, it's not skipping or anything. 5 minute break.
The heck?
Typical YouTube shit. Um, okay, so let's talk about this fight while we wait for them to bring out KSI and Logan Paul, because I'm not gonna do 30 minutes of a breakdown on this. It's gonna be a pretty simple breakdown. I think just strictly judging, because you have to take into account these guys' backgrounds. You just have to, because when you've done athletic events for, I don't know, all your life versus not ever doing an athletic event ever, I think that has to be said, and I think that has to be taken into account, because you can't just. Well, I'm not doing that. You can't just discount the fact that Logan and Jake have always done athletic events, whether it's wrestling, basketball, football. They have muscle memory built in to help them with the fact that they're going to be in a combat situation, in a athletic situation. That's just on the base level of things. But other than that, you watch the training videos now. There hasn't been a lot come out from either side. I think Jake Paul put something out last night, and I took a look at it just because Shane Mosley is apparently training him, and I did want to see that. And he looked okay. You know, granted, their combinations on air and they're hitting pads, but even that has to show you something, for especially for beginners that have just started boxing in the last couple of months. You have to see improvement in the way they hit pads and the tempo they're using, how light they are on their feet. That can they move? Can they change position? Can they change level? Can they mix up combinations and not be predictable? They don't have enough training footage for me to distinguish any of that, but just strictly looking at the combinations thrown, Jake looks light. Looks like he's a little faster than Deji is, just from what I've seen. I have no idea until, because I've seen Jake get hit with a kind of a slappy right hook, and, he took it well. It wasn't anything crazy. Plus, headgear is going to be a factor, and I'm sure they're using 16-ounce gloves because they are amateurs, and the only way you can get these things sanctioned is by, agreeing on some form of glove size, headgear, whatever that is. So I'm sure they're going to be as safe as possible with how they treat these guys. Now, the fighters themselves, I'm sure they're going to swing wildly and someone's going to try to knock someone out. But with headgear and 16-ounce gloves, I don't think it's going to happen. But I see Jake coming out. Honestly, I think Deji comes out more aggressive, anticipating that Jake's going to come out and throw crazy. And I think Jake will probably use the jab. This is just from what I'm seeing. If this is the Conor McGregor tactic, and it's the I'm gonna come, and Darren Till does the same thing. I'm gonna come stand right in your face and throw bombs, but then the fight starts and it's calculated. They still walk forward on you and still throw bombs, but it's not like they're just flurrying you. I see that a lot from Jake Paul, and I think Jake Paul wins the fight. I'm not going to troll you guys for 25 minutes to give you a prediction on the fight like the rest of these YouTubers will. I think Jake comes forward on him. I think he's patient. I think he sticks with the jab. I think Deji starts to kind of swing a little bit, gets a little flustered. And I think Jake just outclasses him. I think looks like he's in better shape. And these are 3-minute rounds for 6 rounds. And I'm sure both guys have been sparring and doing, 7 to 8 3-minute rounds in preparation. But to me, it looks like Jake is the more polished fighter after 2 months of training. And that's not saying a lot, but it has to be said that so far, it looks like Jake has learned more and has retained more just from the small sample size we have. Deji looks like a natural counterpuncher. He looks like a natural southpaw, and it looks like he hits hard. But I just don't know if Jake will be there, and I don't know how accurate either of these guys are going to be. People think that boxing is about hitting hard, always, and about always smashing fools. The best boxers in the world, and even the best MMA strikers in the world, are more accurate than they have power. Like, yes, Darren Till, Conor McGregor, Floyd have power. Yes, Canelo has power. Triple G has power. But what makes these guys the elite of the elite, Mikey Garcia, is they are so accurate, even when moving, when the head is moving off the line, and they can still catch you with a counter straight or an uppercut as you're slipping a jab. Like they are so accurate. That's gonna make the That's what you're gonna see. That's different. You guys are expecting just someone to throw bombs and land. These guys have to be accurate. They're bringing out the main event: Logan Paul versus KSI. Logan Paul's gonna look like Shred City. I'm not even kidding. I saw a training video of him a couple days ago. His little diss track. That fool looks like a tank, which I don't know if that's a good thing. You carry a lot of that.
Always looks like that.
Well, I'm saying you carry a lot of that weight around, especially when you're that lean. It's gonna
He's
be.
gonna get tired quicker.
Oh, well, it's not that. I just don't know. I don't know if he is or isn't. But usually, when you are that lean and you have that much fast twitch fiber built up in your muscles, you tend to gas a little quicker.
What's the weight?
I bet he weighs in at 200 pounds. At the lightest, I'll say 195. Oh, they're gonna do a face off before the weigh-in. You got to give me your honest opinion of that sweatsuit right now.
It's really stupid. He looks like he got it at Pink. I'm serious.
He looks like one of those robot men you see in this.
Tell him that's back in 2007.
It looks like FUBU, doesn't it?
I don't
It looks
know.
like P Diddy's FUBU line from back in the early 2000s.
Before.
He looks like a grandma's couch with the suede the wrong way though. Hey man, do whatever you want with your merch, I guess, but they announced KSI and no one showed up. Logan's a little antsy.
I hate it.
Dead silence right now. They announced KSI and he didn't come in. Logan says you can't hide anymore. I don't know if I like this from Logan though. Like if you're judging a fighter who's ready to fight and who's not, Logan looks really antsy. And he's fallen prey, I think, to what KSI is doing. I think KSI is pulling the vet move and making him wait on him. Yeah. They're pulling the Floyd Mayweather tactic, the Conor McGregor tactic. It's you're on their time. You're not on your own time. You're on their time. All right. How much? I'll say KSI weighs in
I gotta look at him.
just strictly off of like,
He's taking off his shirt already.
oh, my man's not playing. He's ready to go. I'll say he weighs in 185, 184. Nah, you know what? No, 187.
You're good at that, so I'm gonna just not say.
187. Not sure what we're doing. Is it weird that I get amped for this stuff? Like, not even amped in the fact that, oh, they're whatever, but shower's going now, guys. Sorry if they can hear that. I'm going to put the headphones on real quick.
Bad.
No, we're good. We're good. That's tough.
He's not as shredded as I thought he'd be, to be honest.
I think it's the lighting. It's the lighting for sure. If they zoom in on him, you'll see it.
Not really.
He's a big ass dude, though.
You're bigger than him. I swear.
86 kilos. How many is that? What is that? What's the weight on that? That's lighter than I thought.
189.
Wow.
It's only not,
So he, and I don't know if this is true, in his True Geordie podcast, he said he was 200 pounds. Did he cut?
who is that?
That's Logan Paul's girlfriend, I think.
I didn't know he had a girlfriend.
She's an actress, I think. That's hilarious. Oh, shit. KSI almost fell over. Dang, KSI looks a little bigger than I thought.
Yeah, he is.
I'm going to say 184. Yeah, 184 is, I think, is good. 84.9.
187.
Wow, that's a closer weight than I thought. Did Logan Paul? I mean, Logan Paul had to have cut a little bit for this. All right, I'm gonna do the face-off. What do you bet someone gets pushed?
$10.
Man, you can see a lot from these things right here.
And Logan is so tall.
KSI looks confident. Logan looks confident. Logan looks like he's feeding into it a little bit. Logan Paul gives him some gum. Or tries. Okay, he feeds him. Okay. They're having breakfast together. That's really nice. KSI didn't come with any breakfast. I think that's a little bit inconsiderate, seeing as the fact that Logan brought him some gum. All right. Pretty tame face-off there. Logan's Millie rocking on him. I don't know what to take from that, other than the fact that it was exactly what I thought it would be. Goofy, gimmicky, hilarious. Yes, I came with a picture of his girlfriend. But yeah, the only thing I'm surprised at is how light Logan came in. Oh, snap. Is he there? Michael Buffer just shouted out Anthony Joshua. Fun fact about this fight, KSI compared Logan Paul's fighting style to Anthony Joshua after a couple of months of training. I don't think he meant it in the way he said it. I think he meant that Logan will be a very sound, fundamental boxer coming into the fight. He will do all the basics well. Nice stiff jab. Hands up. Clean hooks, stuff like that. The mics are so quiet I can't hear a thing. I did not think, yeah, True Jordy is kind of echoing what I thought. I did not think Logan would be as light as he was, and I don't know how that comes into the fight. Well, I mean, yes, the technique will show, but I thought Logan being 10, 12 pounds bigger was going to help him in this fight, was going to add to his ability to take shots, but it seems like a concerted effort from Logan's team for him to get down in weight. And I want to know why. Do they think that's going to help his cardio? Shedding a couple of pounds? Because I could argue that possibly it won't. I could argue that it possibly will actually hurt him more because he is coming off of a weight cut now. And I don't know what the number is, how much weight he lost. I have no idea. But anytime that you cut weight, anytime at all that you drop, 10 plus pounds the week of a fight, that's a big deal. So I don't know what his team, what their mindset is or what their game plan is. I'm going to trust that, whoever he's working with knows what they're doing, but I don't know if it's going to help with his cardio, cutting 10 pounds or whatever it was the week of a fight. That's my assumption. They could have been doing this for months and just lied and said he was 200 pounds. No idea. But a couple things to take away. KSI looked like he was relaxed. What do you think? KSI looked more relaxed, I felt like.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I thought Logan was a little nervous, a little antsy. Kind of his first time in
I
that
think he was acting though.
that setting. Oh, a lot of it was acting, but what makes, like, you can tell when he's up there alone and KSI is kind of icing him and making him wait a little bit, his reaction is to kind of yell out and puff the chest up and say, "Where you at?" Do the whole thing versus staying within himself and just kind of being there.
True.
And maybe that's his way of being in his own skin. Maybe that's his way of being confident, whatever. But it looked like a concerted effort to start talking. It looked like a concerted effort from him to kind of just be like, okay, well, No one's here. This is awkward. So that's what I thought anyway. But I don't know. So I guess we'll talk about. We talked about Deji and Jake Paul. Um, to be honest, I just see the fight going as both guys are going to come out aggressively, but I think Jake will be more controlled um, in the moment of that first, because it's going to be first round jitters. Of course it is. It's going to be first round kind of who's going to go out there and throw the swingiest, flappy punches that are going to be slappy and not going to be with great technique. It's going to be who can calm down first and take what they learned in training, whether it was 2 months or 2 years. You have to be able to trust what you've learned and do it so much that when it is survival mode and when it is time where you can't think anymore and you have to go fight, that it's innate now. It's part of how you function in a fight. You don't have to think about it. You just throw. You hit the 1-2. You come down with the uppercut. You protect the left side of your head. You slip. You dodge. You step back. Reset tempo. Things that I'm sure both of these guys have learned in their training camps. How to roll with punches, how to stay off the rope, stay out of the corner, how to parry, just all different things that you learn. And I don't know how far along these guys are. I don't know if we're going to be parrying any shots or seeing any kind of Floyd Mayweather shoulder rolls. But I do expect at some point for the fight to calm down. And this, I'm going to go on record again. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out. Is that crazy? I don't think that anybody's getting knocked out. I don't see any way that someone lands, as much as these guys think they're going to land. I just don't think either side is going to be fairly accurate. If I could see someone being really, really accurate, it's KSI. Just for the strict fact that he has actually been in a boxing match before. And combination punches are so hard to land when a guy is moving in front of you. It's not a steady bag. It's not a pads that you're hitting that are held up.
This isn't UFC stuff. It's like boxing, so it's a little different.
Well, it's easy. So, and I don't want to say easier, but the science of boxing is so much more complicated because you don't have the resources you have available in the UFC. You can't, if a guy starts to really slip and move and bob and weave on you, you can't throw a kick and get him to stop that, or you can't throw a knee or take him to the ground. You can't do any of that. So you have to find a way to get inside the pocket and land big shots, get out and not get hit. The sport of boxing is essentially who touched the other person more and didn't get touched. It doesn't have to be. I mean, Floyd Mayweather made a career off of not getting touched in boxing. That's all. That was Floyd Mayweather's. I mean, later in his career when he came Money Mayweather. But that's the sport of the sweet science is. It's the reason it's called a sweet science. It's about who can get touched least. That's the worst way to say that. But who can not get hit and score points. Because as much as you don't, it's not an interesting fight to see someone jab someone to death or to see someone, outpoint and defensive box and counterpunch the entire fight. That's boxing for you, folks. That's why your sport is dying.
Ouch.
Well, I mean, other than the heavyweights now, and heavyweights naturally are more aggressive and come forward when they fight, you don't see Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder backing up and shoulder rolling people to death. Floyd made a living off people hating him and wanting him to lose. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Mikey Garcia, these are forward aggressive fighters that love to not, I don't want to say stick out the chin, but love to come forward on guys and really initiate contact and control the center of the ring and show their presence, impose their will on the other fighter. Deontay Wilder had a hell of a time with Ortiz doing that. Anyway, back to kind of what I think of the fight. I think that this is for the main event, KSI, Logan Paul. So I came into this fight thinking that Logan Paul was going to clearly be the better athlete. Clearly, KSI had come in over his head just because of the Joe Weller fight. And obviously, Joe Weller is nowhere near the size, strength, athletic ability, quickness, anything of Logan Paul. I think he's a little bit smaller than KSI. And I mean, that's not everything, but it is a big factor. You're taking on a guy that now is 30 pounds bigger than the last guy. The reach, I'm sure, is significant. The height significant. The athletic background is significant. Um, all those things come into play, as well as the fact that with being such and being in combat sport before, it's not too far out of the realm of possibility to repick that up, and even if it isn't a different facet than wrestling, with Logan Paul's case. But I saw too much of Logan Paul, even just in small little training bits. I was like, man, this guy is big. He hits hard. He doesn't look like he's too frantic in the pocket. He looks like he's comfortable there, throwing big shots and taking some. But as this whole thing has gone on, and I've tried to stay out of like the goofiness of it, but somehow you get caught up in this weird stuff, man. It's crazy. Once you see, like, I watched one of the diss tracks, and I actually thought it was funny. Did you see the KSI one? Was like super artistic. Like, I don't know how much he spent on a production crew and other actors in the video. I don't know what it was, but he did a damn good job on it. I mean, obviously, of course, it's what they do, but it was entertaining, and it enthralls you more in the fight. It shows you that side of the beef or whatever it is to kind of hype the fight up. And of course, we all know what they're doing. It's a bootleg, cheap version of Conor McGregor's gimmick, and sprinkle in a little bit of YouTube cringy, and that's what you get. No, you don't sprinkle it in. You dump all the YouTube cringe on it, come right on top. But it is what it is. Mr. Spider-Man, yo, what's up, baby? I've never seen. Has he been in chat before, Mr. Spider-Man? Kelsey's gonna fight you. Next YouTube card, Kelsey versus Mr. Spider-Man. No, I don't know. I don't know. Who do I think will win? So I picked Jake in the Deji and Jake fight. I just think Jake will. He looked more fit, and again, we don't have a lot to go off of. We saw a couple of training little bits and pieces in their YouTube diss track back and forth stuff, and we saw how they looked today. So based off of that alone, off maybe the 3 minutes in total we've seen in sparring, and just how they look today, Jake looked more fit. Jake's this is gonna sound stupid, but Jake's shadow boxing looks more crisp, looks lighter. He looks like when he's hitting pads, he's not just hitting with a training technique, he's hitting with purpose. He looks like he's changing levels better. He's actually working the body in his training. Again, I haven't seen a lot from Deji. Deji looks like he hits hard. Looks like in the pocket he can do some damage, but Jake's got height, reach. Looks like he's in better shape. I think Jake will come out. I think both guys will come out a little frantic, a little nervous, because this is a huge event. People don't realize this isn't boxing in the backyard with no one watching. There's going to be 15,000 people in that arena. That's more than professional boxers get in some of the biggest fights in the world. That's Triple G Canelo numbers. So this is going to be the highest of high pressure situations. So you're going to see a little bit of that kind of slappy box to start, and it's going to be a lot of clenching on the ropes, a lot of holding and hugging for the first couple of minutes, and someone's going to they're going to throw wild, and then the fight will settle down, and it just comes down to who has better technique and who is more disciplined. And judging off the way they look and who they're training with, I'm going to go with Jake. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out. I think if anything, it'll be one of those TKOs where it's a standing TKO where it's just one of them's not fighting back. But I don't think anyone's getting put to sleep. That's just not going to happen, in my opinion. But for the KSI Logan Paul fight, basically what I was leading up to is I thought KSI didn't stand a chance as this thing got going. I just thought Logan was too big. You saw some sparring footage of him, and he caught someone with a step back left hook. It wasn't the best technique. It was a lot choppier than you'd like. But he's a big dude, and when he hits you, he hits you flush, he's gonna put you down. I don't know who he was boxing. The guy didn't look experienced at all. But as this has gone on, and as KSI's released more, and as they've had more and more confrontation with each other, KSI has started to impose his will on Logan, and it looks like he has become the more focused and confident fighter. It looks like Logan is trying to portray confidence, and he could very well be as confident as he looks, or he says he is. But KSI just seems very comfortable with everything, very confident in himself. You watch more sparring. I always thought when I watched KSI spar, and a lot of his technique was a lot more static, a lot stiffer. It didn't look like there was a lot of crisp on his punches, not a lot of fluidity to the way he moves. Just looking at stuff with him doing with the UFC with Michael Bisping, and even stuff with his trainer, it just looked like he loads up a lot on his right hand. His jab is very stiff. But this is what changed my mind. They came out a couple of weeks ago and said that leading up to the Joe Weller fight, KSI had deliberately leaked bad training footage of him just looking terrible to, deceive, I guess, the Joe Weller camp. And so yesterday, KSI comes out with some more training footage, and it was like his open workout. And he looked, I don't want to say completely different, but he looked so much better. Just, again, hitting pads, his movement looked so much better. His jab was crisp. He didn't stay in the pocket. He didn't step jab and hold it and then pull back and throw the right hand. Everything was fluid. His right hand was quick. His hooks looked mean. Like they looked violent. And yes, I watched the video of him hooking Bradley Martin. I don't put any context in any of those videos other than the fact that they all looked like they weren't trying to hit Bradley Martin that hard. But I just, from the little bites that we've had, I'll say this. I think KSI, if the fight goes into, which I think it will, if it goes the full distance, I think KSI wins. I think KSI is less muscle mass than Logan does, and muscle mass is very, very hard to carry, especially in a six. It's not a full amateur fight. A 6-round boxing match with 3 minutes a round is a long time to be in there moving around. 18 minutes might not seem like a lot of time, but just anybody, 8 people watching in chat, if you guys do me a favor, go run. Just go run in a straight line for 18 minutes. Tell me you're not dead. Take 30 seconds in between every 3 minutes and still tell me if you're dead or not. That's just running in a straight line. Now, shuffle your feet. Just in a forward march, shuffle your feet for 18 minutes. You will be dead ass tired. So Shannon Briggs is standing by the fact that he says Logan and Jake are in great shape, are in phenomenal shape. I don't know how much you can get into shape while you're training to become a boxer in 2 or 3 months. Most training camps for fighters is 2 months. The Conor McGregor camp with Khabib is going to be 2 months. Here's the difference. They're already top-level fighters. Yes, there's going to be things that you work on and things that you do specifically for a Khabib or for a Conor, or even with the Conor and Floyd case. All that was conditioning on Floyd's part. He had been boxing at the highest level for damn near 25 years. All you have to do at that point is make sure you're in shape. So, and that kind of was to Conor's detriment. He gassed really quickly. And so I don't know if Logan's going to be able to carry that muscle mass for 6 rounds. I will say, if Logan gets some shots off early in the fight and hurts KSI, I've never seen KSI really hurt or hit hard. Deji looks out of place 100%. We were kind of talking about that. He looks confident in himself. I mean, whatever that speaks for, of course you're going to be confident in yourself before you get hit in the face. But I think Deji's a little bit out of his depth here. Have I seen? That's the thing. So I haven't seen KSI get hit in sparring. Does he it kind of stuns him a little bit? So if that's the case, if Logan catches one of these big meat hooks on him and just throws that left hand out there, and granted, they have headgear on, it's not going to clip him and knock him out unless Logan just has some astronomical power and catches him clean. But what happens the first time he eats a right hand? What happens with the first time Logan does? I have no idea. But I just think Logan possesses more power, just innately. And if he has the right technique and if he's learned the right technique to throw it, I want to see what happens when KSI gets hit. I want to see what happens when any of these guys get hit. But KSI being the YouTube champion, I want to see what happens when Logan lands a big shot on him. If he lands a big shot, that's another key. These guys have to be accurate. So that's a factor that you can't mitigate, because accuracy in these amateur fights is not going to be what you see with Canelo, Triple G, Anthony Joshua, and those guys don't look like they land a lot. Granted, better defense from professional boxers, but it's not going to be as easy as it looks to hit people. KSI did bring the Chloe Bennett thing out. That was so funny. Oh my God, that's the stuff, man. He's so confident in himself, and it does ring a little bit. You can see it gets under Logan's skin, and that's just these are little seeds. If you watch the fighting game, and you watch a lot of the stuff that Conor McGregor does, and it's not for everybody, and it doesn't work on everyone, but when you can manipulate someone and you can replace their emotions going into the fight with basically whatever you want them to think, and just get under their skin a little bit, it can throw somebody off their game, and it can make them more aggressive and come forward more and fall into a trap of trying to land the big shot and end the fight. So, it's smart by KSI. I'll give him that. It's 100%. It's a good strategy, and it looks like it's working for him. Every time he tries, it seems like he gets under Logan's skin. But on fight night, I want to see how that's going to go, because even in the first fight, which I've gone back and watched since, KSI didn't really have to do a lot as far as his defensive, and he got caught by Joe Weller with a big, I think it was a big left hook from Joe Weller. It wasn't the strongest punch in the world, but it definitely caught him, and it definitely sent that head flying back. So if Logan hits that same punch, it could be big trouble. So I have no idea, man. I am excited for the fight. I don't know what time the fight's on tomorrow, but I don't think we're going to be able to watch it. I might have to watch it after work. But we will definitely do a post-fight reaction, 100%. Spider-Man, I'm going to butcher your name, London. It's Hijalmar London. Thank you guys for being in here. I appreciate it. What does this say? Hold on one second. What does that say? What up, Jay? It's good to see you, man. London says, I feel that when the match comes down to cardio, Logan is a wrestler. Fair. Logan has wrestled for a long period of his life. I don't know if that is going to help in this instance. The reason I say that is because it's different, right? More so in the fact that it's just going to be a little bit longer than a wrestling match would be. And the fact that sometimes it doesn't always convert. And the only way I can kind of quantitate or qualify that is basically the same thing you saw with Conor McGregor. Granted, Conor's not a wrestler, and he's always had gas issues. But when he came over to boxing, the pace is different. It's different from a UFC fight where you would think it would be more tiring in a shorter span of 5 minutes over 5 rounds versus 30 minutes, 3 10-minute rounds, or 10 3-minute rounds. The wrestling aspect does tire you out, but the boxing pace is so furious because even when you're not working, you're working, right? Your feet are moving, you're bobbing, you're showing different level changes, and you have to protect at all times with your hands up because the pocket is going to always remain the same. You can't get out of range in a boxing ring as well as you can in the octagon. So I don't know if that's going to factor in. Plus, it's been a while since Jake wrestled. That cardio you still have to learn. If it's been 2, 3, 4 years, 2, 3, 4 years, you still have to go back and train again. So I don't know. Still don't get why they separated Deji and Jake, because Gordy easily could have said 100%. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't think that they separated Jake and Deji. I think that Jake just left. I think he didn't want to do the face-off, or he was just like, another kind of mind tactic, little game there that he just didn't want to. He just walked out of the building. And, of course, typical Jake Paul stuff. But, whatever. Is what it is. I think this is going to be a lot more interesting than people are giving it credit for. It's why I started the podcast back today. Jay is one of my OG guys in the chat. He has been with me since we started this thing, I think 4 or 5 months ago. I think Spider-Man, you've been in here. London, I don't know if I've seen you before, but I appreciate you guys being in here, man. But this is kind of this revamp. I know I keep saying it every time I get on the W.A.D.E concept that we're revamping, we're restarting, but we're trying to be consistent now. We're trying to actually put this thing together. This is something I do want to make into some type of kind of true Geordie type of podcasting career where I can interview these kind of guys and really get a take on things that are serious and do matter to a certain extent, and try to bring the truth out of these goofy little cringy YouTube things. And who knows, man? Maybe one day I fight the winner of these two. Maybe that would be fun. Heck yeah, London. Well, appreciate it, man. Thanks for reaching out. Subscribe if you're new, brother. We do these reactions to every UFC live card. Well, maybe not at the time anymore because I work during a lot of them now, but we always do post-fight reactions. We talk about the upcoming fights. We'll talk about, especially Tyron Woodley and Darren Till coming up and Kamaru Usman being that kind of third option there. We're going to talk about the Conor Khabib thing, of course. But we appreciate you coming in, man. We're not crazy big in the YouTube sphere. We're, 120 subscribers, but if we're being honest, I wiped the floor with these two kids in the boxing ring easily. But we'll keep it there. We're not gonna go go crazy and get the clickbait going and do all that. But 100%, both these cats would with 2 months of training on my end, even with the torn bicep, yeah, that'd be a walk in the park. So thank you guys, man. I appreciate it. We've been going for an hour. I wanted to see kind of what this was. I didn't know how animated and goofy it was going to be, but it actually turned out to be pretty cool. It's pretty legit. They showed all the guys and kind of what they were weighing. It kind of gives you an idea on the preparation going into the fight. Logan cutting weight is kind of a concern for his fans, or it should be, in my opinion, just because I don't, if that was just off of training, if that was just 2 months of training, he lost a little bit of water weight and lost a little bit of fat, and he dropped 10 pounds, cool. But if he was 200 pounds, like he said in the True Geordie podcast, and in the last week he lost 10 pounds for this fight, when he didn't really have to, unless that was a contractual obligation that I didn't hear, I'm pretty sure this was a catch-weight fight. It's a little concerning because 10 pounds of cutting weight does have an effect on your cardio, has an effect on the ability for you to maintain your pace at a certain point. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. We will be back either tomorrow night or Sunday with our post-fight reaction. We'll talk about what happened. We'll talk about not just this fight. I hope you guys are interested in the entire card because there's a guy on the card, Face Sensei, who he obviously is not a professional, but I think he's I want to say he's a brown belt, maybe a black belt in Krav Maga something. I don't know, but he also does a lot of MMA. He does a lot of I think he helps train KSI, but he does a lot of fight breakdowns and kind of had some. You guys can go check out his YouTube channel, Face Sensei. He's the most legit fighter on this card, and I'm excited to see him because he's around my age. All these guys are, and I want to see kind of where skill levels are compared to where I am. But yeah, thank you guys for getting in here, man. We will see you guys either tomorrow night or Sunday. I did see the Weasels breakdown, actually, London. Absolutely. Yeah, Spider-Man, that Scooby-Doo, that whole diss track, I'm not even going to lie, that diss track that Logan put out was hilarious. Just the concept of it, using KSI to diss himself. And it was goofy, and it's, again, YouTube cringe to the max, but it was a smart idea. The production, obviously, is amazing behind it. But they didn't have those bars. Kels, tell them. If they wanted bars, they come see me. I drop fire.
He doesn't actually.
Diss track coming. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I saw a little bit of the Weasels breakdown. I like that. I like that channel. I like a lot of his stuff. He goes into depth a lot, and he really goes into depth on technique. So I'm a big fan of the Weasel. But yeah, thank you guys, man. We will see you guys tomorrow night or Sunday for the post-fight reaction. Heck, maybe we get Kelsey in here to talk about it a little bit. We'll see.
Yay.
Thank you guys so much. You guys already know. If you've been here before, subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends. Let them know we're trying to build this thing up. I really want to expand my community and just talk about fighting, man. We don't just talk about fighting. I want to expand this to football. Football season's coming up, basketball, social commentary. If you guys have any kind of social things going on in the world, pop culture, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm here for it. And even if I don't know what I'm talking about, you guys can inform me. So that's kind of the way this thing works. I talk, we have a conversation, you guys talk back, we debate. I mean, this is the W.A.D.E concept. We are debating everything. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow or Sunday. Peace.